You know, that's what she said. That's what I
feel like that's really towing the line between what we're allowed to get away with and what we're not.
Oh, really? Yeah, but I still feel that, like, today there's no producer, there's no boss in the house, man.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? We get yelled at tomorrow.
Do you really think our boss is gonna watch the TVT best of 5? There's no way.
I don't. I know our boss. I don't think that he would spend a whole lot of time watching us broadcast when he's not here.
You know, I could.
And I question how much he watches when he is here.
Yeah. Which is kind of been the story of every boss I work with. Every now and then you get a good job when the numbers roll in, and that's about it, man.
Me and Kevin one time did a show where we were doing a little bit of drinking on the set, and I was perhaps a little bit lewd, maybe a little bit inappropriate. Definitely not a G-rated show or even a PG-13 rated show. And the company got a lot of angry emails from people that weren't so pleased with my behavior. And my boss called me into his office a couple days later. He's like, "Hey Ben, I've just been getting some emails. Now I haven't actually watched the show, but just keep it PG-13, will you?" I was like, "Sure, boss." Like, "All right, thanks. Good talk."
Was in Germany.
Yeah.
Actually, I must say, like, in Germany, it was all much more relaxed than it's been in the US. People in the US are really serious, man. You guys are so serious about everything. You know, the other day, guys, I just tried to go out. As I said, I don't really have a weekend, as we see a refinery opening over here for the STC. Same can be said for MMA, by the way, though. So before the action kicks in, I tried to go out one time on a Friday night here just to go to a bar, have a drink. Even though I was alone, nobody else wanted to come. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to sit there, listen to some music and go home again. Little sad, but hey, story of a StarCraft 2 cat. A little sad and lonely. And I go through the line, and I show my passport. Like, every now and then I get denied when I don't carry my passport around, only have an ID because they think it's a fake ID or whatever. I have my passport on me, and I get in a line, and this guy's like, "Ah, sorry man, I can't let you in." I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Yeah, I know I let you in last week, but just we have a new policy. We can't let any foreign ID or passports in." I was like, "An ID, okay, but a passport, really?" He's like, "Yeah, can't let you in." And I'm just kind of standing there. I'm kind of stunned. I could have made a fuss, but I don't know. I never like to make a fuss in public, so just like, okay, man, whatever. Then you ain't getting my YouTube money. That's what I said. Then I walked to another bar, and they didn't even ask for my ID. US rules, man. Sense.
The life of a Dutchie. You know the problem, Kev?
I don't have a blue book.
You need a blue book.
I know. I need to marry an American.
You could have just gotten a blue book cover for your passport and you'd have been fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so smart. Man, that's excellent.
Sneakiness from the STC, a little proxy up here in the top half of the map, proxying a starport. What are you going to do with that? I can only assume it's going to be Banshees.
But isn't it straight up racism, man, to just say we don't allow anyone in who doesn't have a US passport? Like, how can you even...
How is that at all racist?
Well, how is it not? Is
because
it like discrimination?
Because it's discriminating against everybody that's not American.
Yeah. So, how is that right?
Well, first of all, being American is not a race.
Yeah, okay. But isn't it discrimination?
No, it's them saying I can't serve you if you're not American because I don't.
So
I can't
what makes me less of a person just because I'm not American?
I don't think the bouncer ever meant to say that you're less of a person.
Well, that's how I feel when I can't get in when I'm not American.
Kevin, Americans are the best people in the world.
Yes.
We've been over this.
Doesn't matter. Let's see what MMA is going to be able to achieve. Oh, the STC, sorry. Is going to be able to achieve with this Banshee, while MMA is just... man, this is a nice little fight line over here. Look at these guys. This is like, in Dutch we say special forces. Or in Dutch we say military eenheid. Kind of like the special forces or a squad unit where they all lined up, have their guards and their guns ready. Hellion behind us as well. This is a nice little Hellion by MMA, by the way.
This is actually a really dangerous Hellion. There's nothing back here.
It's going to be like,
Undefended base, not bad.
I wish I had 2 more friends over here and I would kill a lot of SCVs.
He's still going to get a couple of kills. He's going to have to micro very
STC is going to try to bust the front over here. MMA positions his units well. And that's exactly what he's doing.
He's taking the longest time to build.
We have a Hellion war going on over
There's going to be a Viking out, so the STC has no chance of really doing any damage here. MMA is in a fantastic
It seems like a
position.
pretty bad opening for the STC.
Hey, I've got a great idea. Let's proxy a starport far away from everything. And then make a Banshee that'll never actually be out in time.
Other than that, the builds are very identical. Here comes the Banshee, but the Viking, as you said, is ready for a meet and greet. And now STC is going to end up losing these Marines, man, and I think he might just die against the counter. Well, he's not going to die, but he's going to take a lot of damage if MMA decides to keep pushing.
It looks like MMA is not in any.
Well, he has a medevac on the field as well. Why wouldn't he, man? He should know that he's been doing a pretty good job so far. I think he's going to try to find the starport. What happened with that Viking?
He's just chilling out at the main, on top of the ramp.
Of course, MMA does not know whether it's cloak benchy or not, so you'd rather be safe than sorry. In this situation, it's not cloak benchy. There's only one benchy on the field.
Yep, and I guess we're going to see this transition over into a pretty normal-looking macro game as expansions are finishing up for either player.
Oh, this Viking! STC. Ben?
Good plan.
Yeah. Okay,
Marines on the ground, Viking in the air, let's land.
Wow, this is really sick spider senses though, by the way. Because I don't think he ever saw this. Look at this. To be like, what up, haters? Good pick up, of course, by MMA. This will not end up losing a single unit, but beautiful game sense.
Those Marines in MMA! And he does.
If only Stim was ready.
If only.
Or Hellions could shoot up. Like the Firebat.
Firebat can't shoot up.
I was talking with Todd the other day, and dude was like, yeah, I'm kind of done playing Heart of the Swarm right now. I was like, why? They don't even know how they want to name their freaking units. Why would I play this game? I was like, I don't see how that...
What?
Yeah, he was really mad about Blizzard changing the name of the Battle Hellion into the Firebat or something, like, or the Hellbat, however they call it. He's like, why would they play a game and they don't even know how they want to make
so
them?
does it start as a Hellion and then it turns into a Hellbat?
Yeah, it was the Battle Hellion and now it's the Hellbat or something like that. But like, why would you ever be upset about that? Why would it change your motivation to play Heart of the Swarm or not? I really don't get it.
Todd doesn't really need a reason to be mad, man. Yeah. He can be mad about just about anything. Look at this SCV just trying to do some repairs.
Which SCV?
Hey, slow down. I gotta fix your tire. Hey, come back here.
You know what this guy's listening to? Slow down. I know you can't catch me.
Slow down.
I'm moving too fast.
Slow down.
I got a lot of interesting tweets, by the way, about the whole hip hop thing we mentioned earlier. A couple of people say that was definitely important, and other people say like, no, it's absolutely not important.
Yeah,
hip hop will
I have
never
to
be
make a
important.
legitimate concession. Hip hop is a very important part of popular culture. In terms of shaping the actual policy of our country, or having any real relevance to the world. Maybe that's too broad.
Nice Vikings over there taking care of the benchy, but meanwhile a pretty serious engagement over here, Brand, between the MMA and the STC. MMA has way more supply, but didn't really bring the supply to the fight, as he's going to end up losing most of his Marines. What a bad fight for MMA.
Everything.
He might be able to pick up. Wow, that was terrible, actually.
And look at this one siege tank. He's ready to go Rambo.
He did take care of that benchy though, but that was a really, really bad fight for MMA. MMA was not ready to take that fight, and I don't think he expected the units of the STC where they actually were. Siege wasn't ready yet either. You could just see that MMA want to move across the map, get into a better position, and all the advantage band that MMA built up over the course of the first, 8-9 minutes in this game is gone. While you were talking about hip-hop. Why would you talk about hip-hop? It's really not that important. Just kidding. Stimpack being researched right now for MMA as well. This game is just going to start stabilizing right now as both engineering bases are going up for the STC. Behind the mineral line of his natural. Or actually in main base. Income wise it's very even. Wow, what a weird fight for MMA. And why would you ever move his units so carelessly across the map?
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate for MMA. MMA, where's that third command center? Looks like he's getting ready to build it. Yeah, it does go down. So pretty identical play styles out of these two guys, even pretty much in every way. Worker count. 45 to 44 units tab shows us Marine count slightly favors MMA, tank count slightly favors the STC. So a small attack unfolding here out on the near the third expansion of MMA is where he wants to go eventually.
STC just doesn't have enough units to really do something about it.
This is really dangerous. STC almost sort of committing his troops to
I think he's hoping that MMA is on sieging. That's exactly what he does. Now he can siege up in a much better position. Cannon goes down. Are these tanks in range of each other? I know, right?
Yeah, got shot in the face.
Okay, man, I see you. You see me?
Some of the death animations for StarCraft units are very brutal.
That's why PG's doing it. Ain't it?
Yes.
There's another drop going on in the main base, but SC was aware of it, so MMA was not able to deal a lot of damage there. I mean, yes, he tried to perhaps siege himself in a very good position, but he wasn't able to because MMA had tanks in good position. Third orbital is going up for MMA. SC already mining up 3 bases. I'm starting to get the feeling this is going to be a very long game, which I definitely did not have the feeling now. Or I definitely didn't feel that way when the game started. Right now, both players just going to macro up for quite a while. This is just the first game of this best of 5. We've been casting for roughly 5 hours now.
It's been a while.
It's been fun, man. We had a couple of really good games. It's fun for us to cast these games, these guys as well. STC not part of the NASL. MMA is part of the NASL and doing pretty damn good in NASL so far as well. Only lost 1 series against MVP Finale.
And other than that, has been pretty untouchable. Right now, he's still continuing to look strong, although STC does have a small supply lead.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were going to talk about NASL. A couple of if you're a fan of MMA, you definitely want to check out the NASL on Sundays, because that's the day where MMA plays. And he's going to have a couple of really good games in the upcoming weeks, since he's in a very strong division with players like the Muslims, Sen, Stefano, and whatnot. It's going to be very fun.
Right now, STC going to take some map control, poking out, taking these Zelnaga towers, looking like he wants to make some kind of an attack up towards the main base of MMA.
Barely mining anything. Is he transferring workers or something? Yeah, he's transferring quite a few workers. I was about to say. So like, how can you only mine 1,000 minerals a minute when you have to triple orbital? That makes no sense. Combat shield just now finishing up 16-minute combat shield. So late. Of course, we had such a weird start of this game, and after that, a couple of weird engagements as well. A lot of STC dropping all the Muse band on this newly acquired base. That's the way you want to do it. No sense in mining out your natural or main even quicker than you're already going to mine it out, since obviously you've been mining from it for a much longer time. This missile turret will be able to shoot at this matter of fact. Alright, that's going to be a bumpy ride.
Here comes the STC making his way up around the top half of the map. He's going to try and get some position on MMA's third base. Going to be hard,
dropping in the same moment. MMA's going to siege up!
Oh wow, Marine's going to kill tanks very, very quickly. MMA immediately losing 2 siege tanks.
Yeah, and he's also taking a lot of damage from this drop. He's now not able to mine from this base. This is not the way you want to engage this either. I guess it's still going to be fine for MMA, I guess. He will clear this drop off. But not before losing quite a few SCVs and still getting outmined. The STC is really pulling ahead in this game right now. MMA has a massive drop over here though, Ben, on the left side of this map. But that also means that his army over here is even smaller. He's going to have to siege up in a really good position, otherwise he might just straight up die.
He's going to siege up right at the base of this ramp. 16 Marines going to be making their way over to STC's third base. He does have a good handful of units back at home that can
60 Marines
deal with that.
He should be able to do so much damage. Both players are 1-1 and 2-1 is going down the exact same way, while XTC actually left a lot of units over here.
Stimmed his Marines, ran them to the third base, and couldn't do anything. Finally they're going to start attacking. He will get a couple of SCV kills, but it's not going to be nearly as effective as it could have been.
Going to do barely any damage at all, Ben, as these Marines will just take care of this little drop. Meanwhile, you're still losing SCVs behind, or at least losing SCVs to these Marines behind the mineral lines. And that drop barely did anything.
Wow, STC's playing so well, man. He's killed 28 workers. And is enjoying about a 20 supply lead, so he's ahead in every possible way here.
MMA looked great, Ben, until he took that very weird fight near the Zelnaga Watchtower. And after that, I felt just STC just played better in each and every single aspect of this game. And slowly but steady pulled further and further ahead, and now is heavily outmining MMA. Has a
he's ahead in every way, man.
He has an MMA grip on MMA.
He has better upgrades. He has more income.
Yeah, everything is working in his favor. +2 is about to finish up for MMA, but he doesn't really have anything. Actually, the only thing that MMA is down right now is workers. It's a pretty big deal. It's pretty important in this game. And MMA is just going to GG out without even taking a fight. So STC wins game number 1 on Metropolis. A weird game, Ben. Very weird game.
Nice play from the STC. Takes him to a 1-0 lead over somebody who might be considered the favorite. I don't know. Kind of hard to say. STC's had some pretty good recent success.
Yeah, STC is probably carrying more momentum around than MMA. But MMA obviously play with the better track record.
Yeah, a larger pedigree. We're going to take a break. Game number 2, MMA versus the STC, is going to be taking place on Cloud Kingdom. So, guys, stay tuned. Come back for that.